Hey everyone, welcome back to In the Alley. My name is Cody. Glad you guys are back for another video. Week 9 on tap. We got 2 games on Friday, quite a few games on Saturday, and a Sunday game. So let's check in with our Friday games and see what we got. All right, so let's take a look at the 2 games that we have here, starting with the earlier game. We have a 7:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff on the Indoor Football League Network. Cool, stream it, do whatever. I got to think of a new slogan. My brain's not working with that. Anyway, this should be a fun game. The 4-2 Tulsa Oilers traveling to Quad City to Moline, Illinois to take on the 6-1 Quad City Steamrollers. Now, Tulsa looked pretty good last week, and until Iowa started to mount a comeback there, too little too late for them. In Quad City, they did not look their typical undefeated selves, and yeah, Green Bay kind of went all over them in their previous game. So with that, we'll talk all of that in a little bit, but for right now, let's talk season leaders. Passing and rushing, both quarterbacks. TJ Edwards for Tulsa, Daquan Neal for Quad City. TJ Edwards, 71 of 109, 658 yards, 22 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Daquan Neal, 50 of 108, so they've roughly attempted the same amount of passes. Edwards is a little more accurate. 692 yards, 21 touchdowns, 3 picks. Some pretty even numbers. Even more so here rushing, Edwards has way more of an advantage. 85 rushes, 322 yards, 12 touchdowns, and Daquan Neal, 52 carries, 262 yards, 8 touchdowns. Now granted, Daquan Neal missed last week. He got into the second half, but for the most part, dealing with an injury, I'm assuming. Receiving leaders, Sheldon Augustine, Juju Augustine, 21 catches, 175 yards, 7 touchdowns, and Jordan Vesey, 12 catches, 241 yards, and 10 touchdowns. So it's like every catch Jordan Vesey has, he has a touchdown. Now, Indoor Football League stats, done with artificial intelligence, take it with a grain of salt. That's all I'm saying. So we'll see what's accurate, what's not. I'm just basing it off of what the website says. So there you go. Take a look at our injury report here. We do have one addition to Tulsa. It's Josh Crockett, wide receiver. He's on short-term injured reserve as of, yesterday. 2 days ago, excuse me. So with that, nothing really new to report for Quad City. Kind of the same 3 that were there last week. And we just move on from there. So just one more addition to the injury report. Over to our game odds. Over 77.5 for our over-under, and then -3.5. Quad City favored by just over a field goal at home, but the odds +100. So if Quad City wins by 4 points, you actually get plus money. It's according to DraftKings at least. Tulsa +124 on the money line if you want an away upset, and -148 Quad City at home as the favorite. Again, 7:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff. We are at Vibrant Arena at the Mork and Moline, Illinois. So right there in the Quad Cities between Iowa and Illinois. Our head-to-head matchup, we are tied at 2. So this is the tiebreaker as of right now, at least. They meet, 2 more times this season? But their last meeting, week 18 of last year, with Quad City taking the victory 39-35. So there we have it. Let's go take a look at our 25-man rosters, bet and prediction. We got a second preview after this. Okay, so let's take a look at our 25-man rosters as they pop up over my face. We have a couple of questions with Tulsa, but we'll talk about that in a second. TJ Edwards, most likely your starting quarterback. Hassan Rogers, running back, wide receiver, do-it-all guy. Your wide receiving core, Max Novak, Sheldon Augustine, Spencer Tiers, and Cole Blackman. Again, Josh Crockett on short-term injured reserve. So who do they bring in? Well, former Frisco fighter Germinic Smith. Germ the Worm is here with more Frisco talent. So that's a big addition. That just bolsters that wide receiving core just a little bit more, doesn't it? Offensive line, Gene Tapia, Patrick Barrett, Zach Branner, Kerry Reynolds, Jake Balderrama. So, again, Jake Balderrama off of refused to report. I don't know if he's even going to see any action. Defense, Rudy Ngoni, Jacarius Smith, Asias Carpenter, and Trey Smalls for that defensive line. Your linebacking core, Dylan Petway and Marquez Bembry. Now, what Tulsa has done the last couple of weeks, they've put Bembry on the defensive line. They've put Trey Harvey as your linebacker. So, with that, I don't think Asias Carpenter has really gotten into really any action lately. It's been Ngoni, Smith, Smalls, and Bembry on that defensive line, with one of those being your super sub. Trey Harvey is kind of your linebacker. And then in that secondary, Taylor Hawkins, Ramon Morris, Kentrell Pierce, Isaiah Smith, Katron Allen, and the aforementioned Trey Harvey. So again, if he drops down to that linebacker spot, it's mainly been Hawkins, Morris, Pierce, and Allen for your 4 defensive backs. And again, they have been taking the ball away like crazy as of late, so we'll see how that goes. Now, the question we have here is at the kicker position. According to the team website, Rio Ramirez is still on it. I don't know if he is still their kicker. Dean Saris, to the recent transaction report, was released on the Indoor Football League website. So if that means Rio Ramirez is back, or if there's some emergency kicker that Tulsa needs, it might be something you need to take a look at when it comes to special teams and how it goes. Worked out for Arizona last week, say that. So for Quad City, DeQuan Neal and Demery Croft for your quarterbacks. I fully expect DeQuan Neal to play. I know we got into the game into the second half against Green Bay. I don't know why, I'll be honest with you. I heard from a little birdie that it was because injury, why he didn't start, but he should be good to go. I'm not sure. I have no confirmation. Jared Ware is your running back, and then your wide receiving core, Deion McShane, DeQuan Dudley, Kevon Rudd, Jordan Vesey, and not recent, but a couple years ago, Jaron McGaw. He is back for another go-around with the Steamwheelers. So again, some more bolstering on that wide receiving core for both teams. Raul Esperance, Joe Crowell, Ivory Scott, and Tyrone Chambers for that offensive line. Esperance has a number 52, baby. And then defensively, Kadir Shepard, David Cagle, Keyshawn Moore, Chemadunga for the defensive line. Linebackers stay the same with Arslanian and Brian Lee. And then the secondary, again, the entire defense stays the same, but the secondary for Quad City, Trey Smith, CJ Parrish, Chris Chukwuemeka, Nicholas Harris, Malik Duncan, Cameron Harrell, with Kyle Kaplan rounding it out as your kicker. That is your 25-man roster for Tulsa. That is your 25-man roster for Quad City. With that, let's go take a look at our bet and our prediction. We'll move on. All right, bet and prediction time. It pains me to do it. Plus 124 for the Tulsa Oilers. I think they get the job done on the road. That's not to say that the wheels are going to fall off or anything like that. My main question is, who starts at quarterback? I think Tulsa right now has things going pretty well. The way that they played against Green Bay a few weeks ago, and yes, they let Iowa get back into the game, but for the most part, they were dominating Iowa until the Barnstormers do their typical fourth quarter. Oh, well, we've already lost the game. Time to score some garbage points. Yeah, they lost to Green Bay earlier in the year, but they did put up 68 points. I mean, Tulsa can score points, and that's not to say the Quad City can't. My main concern is the quarterback position. Obviously, as a Quad City fan, I can be swayed into rooting for Quad City to win this game. Kind of take it as a double-edged sword here. Tulsa wins this game, I win some money. If Quad City wins this game, I'm out a couple of bucks, but my team wins. Kind of a win-win, you know? Some people don't like betting against their favorite team, and that's perfectly okay. I have no issue with it. I'm a Nebraska Cornhusker fan. I'll bet against them any day of the week. Anyway, yeah, that's just kind of how it goes. And I'm not doing that as a way to protect it or anything like that. I do think Tulsa might be a better team here. Again, 3 straight wins for Tulsa. They've won all those games pretty well, too. I think they're rolling at just the right time, especially after that loss against Green Bay. Now, again, I'm saying this is not a wheels falling off the bus kind of thing, because if this is the case, then Quad City will lose 2 in a row. And where do you go from there? I'm not sure, but that's where it's going to be maybe a little bit of a gut check kind of thing. My prediction for this one, 42-38. I think Tulsa wins it. But again, I think it comes down to the health of DeQuan Neal. We have seen, even in previous years, Quad City not be able to get the job done with dare I say, subpar quarterbacking, and Demery Croft did not look the part last week. And it goes to show you just how important Daquan Neal is for this team. If you can't facilitate passing the ball out, you're not going to be able to run the ball effectively. And I don't think Demery Croft did that good of a job last week. So I do have Tulsa in this one just based on the last couple of weeks for them. And Quad City, again, the last couple of weeks, yes, they lost to Green Bay, but that overtime squeaker against Fishers, maybe that was showing a little bit of some cracks in the armor. I'm not sure, but ultimately, the last couple of games for Quad City have kind of put you on your heels, going, okay, maybe there's something here. So maybe I'm striking while the iron's hot. I'm not sure, but I've got plus 124 for Tulsa, and I've got them winning this one 42-38. So that's where we have it for this. Let's go take a look at our second preview. We'll get on out of here. All right, preview number 2 is more of a nightcap than anything else. Just a couple of hours after Tulsa and Quad City kicks off, we have a 9:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff on the Indoor Football League Network, and these records are closer than I thought they would be at this point in the season. The 3-3 Tucson Sugar Skulls taking on the 4-2 Bay Area Panthers. Didn't think I'd see that. This might be actually a little bit closer. Tucson coming off a nice victory against Massachusetts. Bay Area coming off a loss against Arizona in the desert. So we'll see if anything gives when it comes to that. Season leaders for both teams. Jorge Reyna leading in passing for the Sugar Skulls, 40 of 78, 468 yards, 9 touchdowns, 5 picks. Josh Jones, 70 of 147, 866 yards, 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Let me preface this, though. From the Indoor Football League website, it only has Bay Area through 5 games instead of 6. And I did that last week where I had to add everything up. I'm just a little lazy here. So the numbers should be bumped up maybe a little bit more for Bay Area. Maybe they're not. I'm not sure. Rushing yards for Tucson, Devontae Sapp Lynch, even though he didn't play last week, 39 carries, 145 yards, and 1 touchdown. Josh Jones, your leading rusher, 70 carries, 242 yards, 5 touchdowns. Your receiving leader for the Sugar Skulls, Larry Harrington, 17 catches, 149 yards, and 5 touchdowns. He's not actually your leading receiver, but the leading receiver for them is on injured reserve, so he's the next man up. Josh Tomas leads for the Bay Area Panthers, 16 catches, 288 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Looking at our injury report, the aforementioned wide receiver Alfonso Taylor on short-term injured reserve, so a little bit of a blow to the receiving game, but he has really just been a deep threat for the most part. Harrington has been catching his weight in gold as of late, so kudos to him on that. For Bay Area, they have changed a lot. Quite a few players coming off a short-term injured reserve. Quite a few players getting added. Dallas Holiday has been downgraded from short-term to season injured reserve. And then RZ McCorker, with his injury that he had against Arizona last week, he is now on injured reserve. I'm assuming it's a torn ACL, something with his knee. Jack Daly and Joe Fouché added to the short-term injured reserve. And that's quite a bit of a hit to that defensive secondary with Joe Fouché out and the kick return game. Taking a look at our game odds here, we have an over-under of 79.5, so a little low scoring. And then minus 10.5 for Bay Area, so not a lot of faith in Tucson going on the road here. Plus 270 for Tucson money line if you want to bet them straight up, or minus 340 for the Panthers if you want not that much of a return on your investment, unless you bet a lot of money. We are at the SAP Center in San Jose, California, with a 9:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff on the Indoor Football League Network. Finally, our head-to-head, Bay Area only has a 1-game advantage, 4-3. And again, a lot of stuff has happened in the last few years, but Bay Area has that advantage. Their last meeting, week 13 of last season, where Bay Area destroyed them 51-12. So we'll see if the Panthers can exact that same sort of, well, not revenge, but same sort of punishment this upcoming time. Until then, let's take a look at our 25-man rosters, our bet and prediction for this game, and we'll get on out of here. All right, taking a look at the 25-man rosters as they pop up over my face. With the away side first, Trip Harrington and Jorge Reyna are your quarterbacks. Reyna been your starter. Harrington will be your wide receiver, running back, and everything else Savage Garden said in that one song. Devontae Sapp-Lynch and Jameis Williams will be your running backs. Williams, I think, has gotten the start the last couple of games. I think Sapp-Lynch got in a few weeks ago, but I think it's been Williams. He ran really well against Massachusetts. Jerome Buckner, Drew Dixon, Braden Oakley is off of short-term injured reserve, and Kevin Adams round out that wide receiving core. So again, you add Harrington to that. Kevin Adams hasn't played in a couple of weeks, so we'll see if he gets in there. But Buckner, Dixon, if Oakley gets in there, Harrington, it's not a bad wide receiving core. Crykor, Kustanian, Q Baker, Dallas Reigns, and Demonta Decor, along with Jermaine Donaldson for that offensive line. So not really much changing on that offensive line. Defensively, John McMullen, Jalen Stewart, Niles Gaddy, Trey Henry, DeJymin Brooks, and Taylor Upshaw, new signee Taylor Upshaw for that defensive line. DeAndre Cruz is your linebacker. And for the defensive backs, Tariq Bracy, Brian Murray, Jalen Perkins, Ahmad Lyons, and Kendricks Gladney Jr. Kevin Macias is your kicker. Now, what I did notice for Tucson in their game against Massachusetts, they had Kendricks Gladney be the linebacker, I think, for the first series or so, and then I think it switched out to Cruz or someone else. I can't remember who it was, but we'll see if Cruz gets in there. I know he suited up and he did play, so we'll kind of monitor that too when it comes to the linebacking position. For Bay Area, actually quite a few changes with that short-term injury reserve turnaround. Josh Jones, Liam Thompson, quarterbacks. Jones will be your starter. Thompson will be your backup. Josh Tomas, Tosin Oyakonmi, Tyrese Chambers, Trayvon Alexander, BK Smith, rounding out that wide receiving core. We'll see if Smith gets into any of the action. Otherwise, they might just roll with those same 4 wide receivers. Offensive line stays the same. Christian Coulter, Sidney Walker, Jamie Navarro, Antonio Derry, and Delvin Salter. On the defensive line, another addition here, Tavon Grant, Jonathan Ross, Morris Joseph, and EJ Anai taking over for where Jack Daly was, and William Martin rounds out that defensive line. So really only one change there. For the linebacker spot, it's BJ Tafalele and Brian Horn. Brian Horn coming off a short-term injured reserve. And then rounding out the secondary, Trey Meadows, Tyler Watson, Frankie West Jr., Landry Mavungu, which again, coming off a short-term injured reserve, replacing Joe Fouché, and Tyrese Wright for the defensive backs. Your kicker is Axel Perez. That is your 25-man roster for the Tucson Sugar Skulls, your 25-man roster for the Bay Area Panthers. Let's go take a look at our bet and prediction, and we will get out of here. Okay, so bet and prediction time, Tucson and Bay Area. I don't have a good gauge. And the reason why I don't have a good gauge is because Tucson has looked pretty good in the last couple of weeks. They've won 2 games in a row. They looked pretty good against Massachusetts, and even Massachusetts intercepting the ball multiple times and doing what they did. Tucson still scored on them. They scored, 40 points? It's pretty good. 40 plus at least. And upsetting Arizona. Yeah, the score looks a little lopsided, 42 points. One of those was, the final play, laterals and stuff like that. So 36 technically in a way, but they haven't played Bay Area's defense. Is that enough to sway it? Screw it, minus 10.5. I don't have a good gauge. This could come back to bite me, just like it did against Arizona when Arizona was minus 11.5 and Tucson upset them. Is lightning going to strike twice? That's my biggest thing. Minus 10.5, Bay Area coming back home. They're pissed that they lost against Arizona. Arizona didn't even have a kicker, and just a couple of mistakes and some bad turnover on downs and things like that. I think Bay Area wants to kind of exercise those demons. I do. So minus 10.5 on this one. My prediction, it's close. I got 49-38 in favor of Bay Area. I do think Tucson can score some points, and if they don't, well, that's even better for my bet. But Tucson's offense has kind of gotten into it a little bit. Like I said, Jameis Williams has been running the ball pretty well. You could look at maybe the under in this one if they're going to run the ball with Williams, and if Bay Area is going to run it with Josh Jones and Tomas and whoever. But I don't know. It does seem a little bit more higher scoring if Tucson is able to put the ball in the end zone here. It all kind of depends on how good Bay Area's defense is going to smother that. And if you can get pressure on Reyna, like what San Diego did a couple weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, and really pressured him to not have a good game, there could be a recipe for disaster in favor of Bay Area's like. So I do have an 11-point victory here. I have a minus 10.5. It could be bigger than that if Bay Area's offense scores more points or if they hold Tucson to less. I mean, obviously easier said than done here, but that's kind of how I have it, how I kind of see things shaking out. I think Bay Area wants a little bit of revenge. And also, if Bay Area loses, and I don't know the conference win percentage off the top of my head right now, but if Bay Area loses this one, both these teams are 4-3. Tucson's in a playoff spot, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're the 4th seed right now. If Tucson wins this game, both teams are 4-3. And Bay Area losing 2 games in a row right now, and that's, again, it's not a cause for concern, but you're sitting there kind of scratching your head going, what the hell just happened? So I think Bay Area really wants to get after it in this one. They'll do what they have to do. They have proven they can win games by large margins this season. So kind of go from there. 49-38. I've got minus 10.5 for the Panthers, and that's where we have it. So let's go wrap everything up and get out of here. And that is it for our Friday preview for Week 9. Just the 2 games on the slate, Tulsa and Quad City, Tucson and Bay Area. So have a fun Friday night. 2 games there. You can pretty much watch most of the first game and then catch the second game as it is ending. So there you have it. But I'm going to take off here, guys. As always, I love and appreciate every single one of you. I will have the Week 8 recaps out as soon as I can. I've just gotten done watching all of the games, so editing everything together and narrating all the highlights and stuff is next on the docket, along with getting these previews and stuff out. So slowly but surely getting caught back up. I thank you so much for your patience as a one-man operation to get all the highlights and edit and narrate while also working a 9 to 5 and having a wife and child and stuff like that too. It truly means a lot to go through all of this stuff. So it's not lost on me. Gratitude, humbleness, and all of that. It truly means a lot for you guys to watch these videos, the time it takes to make them. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot. Even if you went back and watched the Week 8 recaps, you didn't have to, but if you did, like I said in a previous video, you're an IFL junkie as much as I am. So kudos to you guys. But with that, if you feel inclined, like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever you guys want to do. I truly appreciate it. With that being said, I'm going to take off here. See ya. Oh, and go Jets.